snacks.
After last time, I wasn't touching it.
I thought there's a button to unmute and mute everybody at one time, dog. You know what I'm saying? You just hit that button. What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage. Sin is in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Jokes is absent. Absent from class today.
Yeah, so he has some things to take care of today.
Skipping school. You know what I'm saying? What's happening to everybody watching? Everybody who is in the chat. We appreciate y'all joining us for cutscenes, which are
the best part of the game.
Facts. This is where we get together once a week and we talk about things happening in video games. Today we're gonna do just that. There's a lot. So we got a lot to cover.
It always is.
Nah, I mean, yeah, but nah. Yeah. Look, we're gonna talk about Kojima. We're gonna talk about BioShock 4. We're gonna talk about PlayStation 5 firmware update. We're gonna talk about the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. I mean, I don't. We're gonna try to talk about all of it. It's gonna be a show.
We'll get to what we can get to.
Oh yeah, because we gotta get back to Outriders. But
there's work to be done.
What? Yes, work to be done. So here's what I'd like to do, sir.
All right.
I want to start by asking if you have heard any of these rumors about Xbox and Hideo Kojima.
I have heard the rumors about that.
Okay. You want to tell me what you heard, or it's still a secret?
I've heard that supposedly after Death Stranding with Sony and sales might not have been, what they wanted to see, and with Sony taking a new direction, that Kojima's looking at coming to Xbox.
Okay.
At least with an exclusive title.
Okay.
Right.
So here's the thing. What I'm hearing, I don't know why we're hearing different things. I mean, what I'm hearing is that Microsoft Xbox is looking to woo Kojima, that they're already in talks. I mean, specifically the reason why they're having talks, I can't specifically say. I have some ideas. I have some personal thoughts on why that might be happening. I guess what I want to know from you is if in fact Xbox is in talks with Hideo Kojima, creator of Metal Gear Solid, Police Knots, Zone of the Enders, PT, rumored Silent Hill. What do you think it's for? Like, do you think it's something brand new that they're going to give him some money to do something new? Do you think they're working with him to get something old? You know what I mean? What do you think?
If it's old, it might be Silent Hill, but I think they'll look for a new IP from him.
Okay. Well, here's the thing about that. Who owns the Silent Hill IP? I thought it was Konami. Isn't it Konami?
Let's see.
I could be tripping, but let's see. I mean, either way, I don't. If I had to wager, I would wager they're gonna do what they've been doing with
Konami.
Yeah, so that's not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, unless that's happening, which I'll get to in a second. So I would have to imagine that if you're going to try to bring Kojima in to the Xbox landscape, you're going to do what you've done when you have purchased every other studio that has been acquired in the last 4 years, right? 5 years. And you're going to let them work the way they work. You gonna let us take care of it. You just work the way you work. And we know, like Kojima does, his games are weird, bro. Like
Oh,
they just
facts.
are.
Yeah.
And Death Stranding, you
I
know,
was enjoying it while I was playing it, but yes, very weird, and I get why a lot of people probably were turned off by it.
I mean, okay, we've had some discussions, especially after the acquisition of um ZeniMax,
Mm-hmm.
and then now having access to a Japanese studio, and what that might mean as Phil Spencer seems to continue to make trips and want to make trips to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
to try to gain some foothold there. I don't necessarily think. See, again, I feel like for a lot of people, they look at what's happening and they go, the Xbox is not ever like, you're just not gonna say, you're not gonna move units in Japan. You're just not. You're just not gonna outdo the cachet that Sony
That
has
Sony
and
has, right?
Nintendo has. You're just not doing that. And so, realistically, looking at the whole picture, I mean, the discussions that we've been having have been about, at least for me personally, that I don't really think Microsoft is trying to sell you a console anymore.
Right. It's just about getting in the ecosystem. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So being able to grab goodwill by having people who are at the higher levels of Japanese game development on your side, singing your praises, talking about what you're doing, what you're giving them, how it's working, whatever. And that positioning you to have conversations with other developers
Mm-hmm.
or bring other people to the table. I think there could be more happening here than them just being in talks for him to do games. It could be that they're looking at having him be sort of a liaison, right? To bring, like, think about this. I can't remember if we talked about this on the show or not. But recently Sony shut down Sony Japan Studio.
Yes.
Okay. So Sony shuts down a studio in Japan. You got game developers in Japan looking for work. You possibly have Kojima looking to maybe staff up to start a new project.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine that, we're not talking about something like Death Stranding making its way to the Xbox, right? Even though it's a Kojima game, like Sony helped to publish
Yeah.
it. What rights they have to it, I'm sure, are still in the air. However, it's possible that because, well, here's the thing: Death Stranding could come to the Xbox, I would think. But if Kojima is creating something new, he doesn't have access to that engine anymore, because the engine that he used to build Death Stranding is the engine that came from. It's the Decima engine that came from Guerrilla that they used to make Horizon Zero Dawn. Shout out to Aloy for ending up in
Yeah.
Fortnite
Yeah.
today, I think. So that means he's starting from scratch, or he's using one of their systems.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to think it's something new, right?
That's what my money's on. I mean, as much as I would love to see him do another Zone of Vendors, I think it would be something new.
I mean, that's Konami's, right?
Probably too. Yeah.
Okay. So is it possible that Microsoft is working in some manner? What's up, K Dizzle? To bridge the gap between Konami and Kojima? Could they be going to Konami and saying, "Hey, look, y'all sitting on all these IPs you're not doing anything with,
Bring him the Game
right?
Pass.
Right? Yeah. So if it is Silent Hill, if it is Metal Gear, anything, if it is Zone of the Enders, if it is, you know what I mean, like if it's Contra, like whatever, like if they're just saying like, hey,
Come over to Game Pass, man. Look, we got the
yeah,
numbers.
like
I mean, just thinking like how they brought over. I'm pretty sure bringing over all the whole freaking Yakuza franchise. You know what I'm saying? Another Japanese team, another Japanese developer, director. You know, like just seeing those numbers come back. Like, look, we put this game that's only been on Xbox. I mean, on PlayStation for how many years? Here you go, right here. You can see the numbers, what it's doing. People are playing it. People go out and buying it. Like, look, talk to your
exactly.
peers. They're getting in now, and they're seeing the difference. They're seeing the numbers. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I mean, K Dizzle says they got the money.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know what Sony can do right now. I mean, realistically, Sony's making some moves, but they got some work to do in this space, I think.
They do.
We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with them because they just keep getting bad press, man. I don't know exactly what they're doing. But there was a lot of talk this past week. Jason Schreier, who used to be at Kotaku but now is at Bloomberg, broke this story about how many of the Sony development teams are upset with Sony because they won't give them the freedom to work on the stuff they want to. They're trying to force them. Here's the joints that are big and are making big numbers. We're doing more of that. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of that.
Yeah, I see them talking about this Last of Us remake for the PS5. I'm like, why?
Yeah, like
Why? That's such a waste of time.
well, here's the thing. The team that was supposed to be doing that originally said that they pitched to them they were going to do an Uncharted remake. And then because Sony don't really want to put the money behind anything, they were like, well, that's too much work. That's too hard. Let's just do Last of Us as a remake and pitch that as as something we can work on. And then they began to force like the Naughty Dog people to oversee it. And then it became more of a Naughty Dog project than it was their project. And, again, a lot of people are just like, why? We don't really need a new Last of Us. We got a Last of Us remastered already.
Right.
We don't really need.
And we just got two. Like we don't stay away from that for the time being. Like leave it alone.
It's it's a little tricky, man.
That sounds desperate to me. Like you're just trying to grab some more money. It sounds desperate.
I mean, aside from, it doesn't sound like a bad business plan, so to speak. Right? But it does feel like there's a crush of they're crushing innovation. And if it means that a lot of what Sony has done super, super well over the last 7 or 8 years has been greenlight strange IP that just like that whole Sackboy thing, stuff like Dreams, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff that is innovative and did well. It just seems like they're quashing a lot of that. Like we're spending a lot of money on this kind of stuff and we're not seeing the return. You know what I mean? Or something along those lines. And so how do we take what we do have? Because again, right now you gotta be shuffling in some way to figure out how you really do compete with Game Pass. Yeah, we got something to work, sure, but how do you really compete with Game Pass? It's kind of like Microsoft does this deal with people can fly in Square Enix to get Outriders day one. They got MLB day one, Game Pass for everybody that's an Xbox subscriber, and PlayStation has the new Oddworld. If you're a PS Plus member, which is not different from you have to be a Game Pass subscriber to get the games that are on Game Pass, right? So you have to be a PlayStation Plus subscriber in order to get the brand new. And here's the other thing: they did a deal with them, so right now that game isn't available on Xbox. Right? It's only available on PlayStation consoles and PC, I believe. And so they do this thing for PlayStation Plus where you get the game for free. What's the catch? You know what the catch is?
What is it?
The game is only free if you're a PlayStation Plus member and you have a PlayStation 5. because it is not free for PlayStation 4 owners. Now, how many people actually have a PlayStation 5?
Yeah, like
How
what's
many
the
units are you actually giving away? How hard is it to actually get it? When this deal goes away at the end of the month, how many more people will actually have a play? Like it just
yeah?
it
That's
doesn't
just
make any
terrible.
sense, man.
Yeah.
Kay says they can compete. Ultimately, they will be paying Microsoft to do so. Xbox found the lane to win overall. I mean, I agree. I do agree with that in a lot of ways. This whole thing with Kojima, I mean, we can speculate all day, which I love doing, right? If Microsoft is talking to Konami to try to grab these IPs, if they're in talks with Kojima, like the last thing I heard, the lawyers are sitting down. We just trying to work out the details, okay?
Okay.
Here's what I can tell you. Whatever it is they're doing, it's coming to Game Pass. Period.
Yes.
Period. I don't care
Yes.
what it is. It's
It will
coming to
be
Game Pass.
day one.
I don't care if it's brand new. I don't care if you played it before. I don't care if that joint was a PlayStation 2 game. That joint's coming to Game Pass. Because those are the kind of deals that Microsoft is making right now. Because Microsoft isn't necessarily trying to get you into a console. They're trying to get you in the ecosystem. You don't have an Xbox? You got an Android phone? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Don't gotta worry about moving units in Japan. Like, hey, download the app on your TV. You good to go.
Exactly.
Play it right there.
Like,
don't gotta worry about it.
It's just it's a different kind of move, man. Here's one of the things I think that you have to be looking at. So Death Stranding, I believe on PlayStation initially out the gate sold somewhere around 4 million units and did enough to break even. Okay. But one of the things about Death Stranding is that it's a game that exists in a world where really for the game to shine the way it's supposed to, other people have to be playing it. You have to be building things and leaving things in your world that other people can use in their world. That's part of what the whole concept and idea is. How much better would that game have done if it was on Game Pass?
Oh, it would kill. One, you don't have to pay for it, so you can just download. So you don't have to worry about how people are saying this over that or whatever. You can get in and try it out for yourself, easy access. And then yes, because you have all those people in there, the game really gets to thrive because of those things you just said.
Exactly.
So yeah, it would have killed.
Let's think about
it'll still kill if it comes to it, I believe.
Exactly. Let's think about what a game like Demon Souls or Dark Souls that has an asynchronous co-op, right? That has stuff where it's like you're not necessarily playing with each other, right? But if you could just automatically have this huge group, this number of people who are in that ecosystem, who are playing because it's there, right? Look at Outriders. If there is a case study, if there is a case in point, it's Outriders, right? I think there are many people who will probably say, Outriders seems cool. I wouldn't pay $60 for it. Outriders seems cool. I wouldn't pay 70 for it. You know, or whatever. Not really my thing. But how many people do you think tried it just because it was in Game Pass and maybe would have put it down if they had paid for it or been upset if they had paid for it or taken it back and traded it in to get something else if they had paid for it? But instead
absolutely. Especially with the server issues. Especially with the server issues.
Right.
No, they would have tanked that thing first weekend.
Yep.
Easy, I mean, but since we didn't have to pay for it, you know what I mean? It's just, all right, I can let it rock.
We in here.
Yeah.
K does this Game Pass, Xbox Play Anywhere, remote play is a death to PlayStation. I can play Outriders in my car, on an Android tablet, game blouses. And I ain't mad at that.
Nah.
Right? I mean, again, when you're really pushing it, I can tell you right now that the tide is turning. You can go on YouTube right now and you can find any number of videos of people who are going, man, I've been a PlayStation dude for 15 years. I've been a PlayStation dude since PS3 came out. My first console, what up, Perk?
What up, Perk?
My first console was a PlayStation 3. I've been a PlayStation guy, but I ended up with an Xbox. I tried this Game Pass, man. That joint kind of serious, right? I watched a video the other day with one of the main editors from GameSpot. Was like, he been a PlayStation dude his whole life. And this generation, he literally finds himself playing the majority of his games on Xbox. Like, that's just where he's doing his gaming. And here's the thing. PlayStation has relied on their exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, that's not necessarily a bad thing because they have them and they're incredible.
And they're great, yeah.
But the quality of life is nowhere near, in my opinion, the quality of life on PlayStation consoles is nowhere near as solid as it is on Xbox consoles. Like, if you're in that ecosystem, you just deal with it because it's almost like having a favorite football team that doesn't win. Like, that just doesn't win. But that's just squad. You ride or die. You rock the jerseys, you go to the games, you tailgate. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But those consoles, I mean, those console exclusives, do they hold the same cachet? I think that's the thing that Microsoft ran into. That Halo started to get and feel old. Gears started to get and feel old. Forza starts to get and feel old. Like, they're tried and true franchises. They sell. They do.
Yeah.
Every time they put them out, right? But how do you refresh them? How do you make them new? You look at something like Assassin's Creed. I hate the new Assassin's Creed games, not because they're not good games, but because they're not Assassin's Creed games. They just say Assassin's Creed in the name. But they're nothing like what the stealth assassin piece of Assassin's Creed games was that made the franchise. You know what I mean? So now it feels like they're just taking the name and slapping it on a very different game, which has their open world sensibilities. I get that. I think having Kojima on their side is a much bigger play than just, let's see if we can get him to make a game that's for us. I don't think at all. I don't think in any way, shape, or form that this is about I don't think they're trying to sign him to an exclusivity deal, so to speak. I don't think they're necessarily trying to get Kojima to give them a game like they gave Sony a game, right? I think what they're probably working on is something much more like trying to get him to look at the numbers, see the numbers, and be able to preach that to his counterparts in the East. That's what makes sense. You already know the Sega folks are screaming the praises. Square Enix is already starting to scream the praises. You back Kojima, ain't a whole lot left to, you know what I'm saying? Ain't a whole lot left to do. Real talk. This you can't keep making Fast and Furious movies, bro.
Hey, well, look, we got 2 more, then you ain't got to worry about it no more for the time being.
There you go. Hey, listen, they might want the catalog, right? But here's the thing. The catalog doesn't belong to Kojima. The catalog belongs to Konami. And if there's anybody that has the money to talk Konami into letting them do something with those titles, even if it's just, let's put them on Game Pass. That deal could be, let's take these games, put them on Game Pass, see how they do. And if they do this, if they make these numbers, if we have these hits, let's do a new joint. You know what I mean? Let's let a studio work on this. Let's put something together.
And look, the PlayStation fans, I wonder how fast they're going to turn on Kojima if he signs something with Microsoft.
Hey, dog, listen, I thought about the same thing. I really did. I thought about the same thing, and it's going to test some things. I really believe that. I really believe it'll test something, and I think that's the thing that he has to consider.
Oh yeah, because they have sung the praises of him and bragged about exclusivity and all that kind of stuff for years upon years upon years. So the tide shifting or whatever, and he decides to make that move. I can't wait to see what people have to say.
I'm gonna tell you what, I think the tide has shifted, and I think the move is being made. I don't think there's any two ways about that. I do think that if it is a new game and he has to build a game from scratch, it'll be 5 years before we see it.
Oh, easily.
3 to 5. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
But we'll see. We'll see the trailer
But here's the
next year
thing.
for it.
But this is the thing. The fact that these rumors are out in the open, the fact that the lawyers are sitting down now, what that says to me is they are working on things they can announce by E3 this year, which means whatever it is they're trying to do with him isn't about making a new game. That's where I'm at. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think
What if it is the Konami deal they announce, and along with the Kojima joint, and that's what they announced at E3. Like all these Konami joints coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Today. like as soon as this conference is over today.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it would be crazy. Yeah, K Digital is more of a cultural thing. They've long to support the home console, but like you said, things have changed. I mean, realistically,
and Phil's probably been over there too, like giving them like
Phil been over there.
He been putting that work for real over there.
Microsoft dropping bread, bro. Like they just announced they about to do a $20 billion deal to buy Nuance, which, listen, we talked about them talking about spending $10 billion to get Discord. That's cute. 19.7, but technically, okay, here's the thing. Technically, it's like a $16.2 billion deal, right?
Stupid.
Dude. Too much. Throwing out them Usher bills. Technically, it's like a $16 billion deal.
Mm-hmm.
But they're gonna take on Nuance has like $3 billion in debt. So they're gonna take that on too. Right? But here's the thing. Again, Xbox, because they're Microsoft, is playing in a different field. They are looking at a much wider view of the field. Mm-hmm. Who's in the field and what's going on. I don't know if you saw. People started doing gameplay stuff for Amazon Luna like last week. Okay. Like, that joint has hit. People are starting to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they've sent that joint out to people and people are starting to play it. Microsoft is looking at a much wider field of view of where this is heading and what the tech is doing and where the tech is heading. And so
that's where you had to be at. With
that consideration, I know that the idea that Microsoft is buying Nuance, which is a speech recognition company. They have a huge hand in the medical field. Okay. As does Microsoft. Like, they just announced this whole medical Azure cloud thing, right? And there's going to be a lot of red tape they got to go through to finalize the deal, but they came to a deal. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's keep this in mind. Microsoft is about to buy the company that makes Dragon Naturally Speaking. So if you don't know them for anything else, if you don't know nothing about nothing else they do, you probably heard of Dragon Naturally Speaking, which is just a speech recognition software that you see commercials for people. You wear a little headset, you talk into the joint, and it just pops what you got to say up on the screen. It types for you, all that kind of stuff, right? Let's go a step further. If you're an Apple person and you have an iPhone or an iPod, these are the people responsible for making Siri work, for the speech recognition in Siri. That's Nuance, okay? So Microsoft is about to acquire the company that made the speech recognition software that is on the piece of equipment that like half the world is carrying. Let's just okay. And I know this is a video game show. The question is, how can they implement this? How can they take this and implement this in a way that works in gaming? And when you think about the fact that they are putting games in the cloud and allowing you to play your games on mobile, that they're doing speech recognition, your every move that Microsoft makes is like, we're buying this company and we're going to break down these pieces of technology that they have that we don't. We're going to find ways to make them work. One of the things that Microsoft has done in gaming better than anybody else is accessibility.
Yes.
the adaptive controller,
That's
right?
what I was
Options
thinking
you
of.
have on your screen. To me, there are much bigger implications whenever they say, oh, we're about to do a thing. Just like when we started talking about them doing Discord, it was like, well, nah, but Discord will be great when they integrate it into Teams. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just looking at a much wider, as far as the tech and the gaming landscape is concerned.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic about this whole Kojima thing. Maybe it's a lie, but I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure they're really doing it. Okay, says they understand the future of entertainment. Here's the thing, okay? You're right. They do. Entertainment as it exists in this field, right? It's not like Sony's not doing things. Like, it's not like they're not acquiring companies that just run anime. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's not to be scoffed at. But it means that they have to focus their energy elsewhere. It means that what's happening under the Jim Ryan regime at PlayStation is very different and less focused on games and creativity and making games and whatever
Right.
than it is on what's the big joint that sold real well? Make another one of those joints. What's the big joint that did? Let's make another one of those joints, right? And here's the issue with that. Microsoft probably started to see some of its biggest numbers lift when they did Xbox Live Arcade. Smaller indie titles that people would just download. They weren't super expensive, but they were turning and they were making a ton of money because people were in there. And that came along at the same time that really mobile gaming was really starting to blow up. And then mobile gaming hit console gaming in a way that it was like you have all these new people playing
That's
games.
some of arcade used to be fire.
Did it? Right.
They used to hit every single year.
Microsoft also just put together and spent money for 3.5, 4 hours on Twitch just showing indie games. Here's stuff that's indie games that are coming to. It isn't necessarily about the biggest big tentpole, right?
Yeah.
If I got 20 games, right, that are $10 to $20 a piece, and we sell a few 100,000 copies of those, versus you have one game and you sell 4 or 5, maybe 8 or 9 million of those, did we break even? Are we doing the same numbers? Do you have more people playing? Have you brought more people into your ecosystem by having a plethora of titles that are different genres or whatever that people will play, that are not just like, who is Death Stranding for?
That's very niche.
Riddle me that.
Yeah, it's something different. It's its own beast. It's very niche. Yeah.
Who's the target audience? Is it the stealth gamer? Did they advertise it as an action adventure game? Because it ain't action. Like, it's not. Like, it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
the closest genre I can think of is survival for some. That's the closest I can think of.
I mean, look, I'm not saying Last of Us. Last of Us sold like crazy. It could break through and get people who would never play a game before to play a game just because of the story elements in that game. But how many more people are going to play the puzzle game, the racing game, the short platformer, you know what I mean? Like, how many more games, how many shorter bite-sized experiences, how many games that are built that are on a console platform, but are also perfect for Game Pass for you to play on the go on your mobile, on your tablet, on whatever. How many more people? And you heard Phil Spencer say it over and over again. Like, there's like 2 billion people who play games. We're just trying to grab that market share. They just trying to grab that market share, right? Because you're not going to get, if there are 2 billion people playing games, PlayStation 4 sold 120 million consoles. That's this much of 2 billion. 100 million? That's this much of 2 billion. How many people are playing on mobile? How many people are playing indies? How many people are playing games you never heard of? How many games are out there making hundreds of millions of dollars?
And look,
You have
just go
no
to
idea
Twitch
who
and look
they
at what the
are,
top. Go to Twitch and look at what the top stream games are.
bro.
Yeah, the answer's right there. It won't be the games you're thinking.
Among Us. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? It's
yeah,
not Death Stranding, bro.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not, and again, Death Stranding, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It wasn't for me personally, but like what I'm saying is that there's a when you start looking at the industry and the way that things sell, the way stuff works, there's a term called there's cap turns, right? So McDonald's has more franchises than anybody else you can think of, probably, right? There's a McDonald's everywhere, and they don't sell food at an expensive clip. They sell it, sell way more of it faster than anybody else does. But they make a ton of money because they have high cap turns, right? So the capital they put into it, they turn that around so fast, right? So yes, you have your quote unquote heavy hitting large studios, which by the way, Microsoft has like 23 of now.
Yeah.
But you're doing these deals with these smaller studios that are just putting stuff out. Here it is, come and get it. Here it is, come and get it. Here's another one, come and get it. Here's another one, come and get it. Like I go through Game Pass and I'm like, what? I don't have time for all this. You know what I'm saying?
And they're not being told to make specific things either. It's like, hey, we like that. Put it out here. Put on Game Pass.
It's also enough to make me be like, well, why would I stop paying for Game Pass?
They constantly throwing stuff in.
Like once you have it, why would you stop paying for it?
I have
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you almost just have to hate video games and feel stupid, right? It just the numbers are speaking for themselves. How many different kinds of games? How many different genres? How many different players? Microsoft is advertising people playing with their grandparents, right? That is a very, very, very Nintendo approach.
I was thinking of the Wii as soon as you said that. First thing that popped in my head.
Always shows families and people together, and let's all get fit together. Let's ring fit. No, but but let's do that. It's working, right? Do they show grandmothers playing Gears of War? No. But is there a chance there's something for grandma on Game Pass? Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you connect over that? Yep. There is one feature I feel like Xbox is missing. We're going to talk about that in a second.
All right.
Here's what I want to do next. I want to talk about this new firmware update for the PlayStation 5. So 6 months in, PlayStation 5 just got its first firmware update. And there's some good stuff in there. I'm going to run it down.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
Excellent.
I have no clue what's in it because I don't have a PlayStation 5.
Okay, this will say video chat. No, that's actually not the thing that I feel like they should have, but when I say what it is, you're going to understand. Not that would be a bad thing, but so here's the first and probably the most important thing. PlayStation 5 firmware update. You can now store PlayStation 5 games on an external USB drive. So, considering that the PlayStation 5 has a terabyte hard drive, no, not a terabyte hard drive, like an 823 gig hard drive or something stupid like that, of which only like 670 gigs is available. People have, and games that are 100 gigs or more.
Destiny, people are. That's pretty much it right there.
6 games. You're out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you playing Call of Duty, Marvel's Avengers,
Grand Theft Auto,
even though that joint's not technically a PS5 game,
yeah,
just using up your space.
Yeah.
Just PS5 games alone though, like people are having to erase their games, download a new game, whatever. So look, this is a Band-Aid. What it will allow you to do is take your PlayStation 5 games and move them to an external hard drive. You cannot play those games off an external hard drive because PlayStation 5 games need the SSD, the internal SSD, in order to be able to do that. But it is much faster to transfer a game to an external drive and back off of an external drive when you're ready to play it than it is to have to download it.
Yeah.
And certainly if you're a person that has data caps or bandwidth issues or whatever, what's up, jokes in the chat? Then, you know, this is a great solution for all intents and purposes.
It is.
Now, what they did say, we know that the PlayStation 5 has an expandable storage slot. They got nothing. We'll tell you when something's going to happen with that. That's what they have to say about it. That's in the blog post. We'll keep you posted on it. It's basically what that says. So, still no solution internally for you to add more hard drive space. We know it'll come, and when it does, it'll be important. But right now, it's not there. Here's the thing Microsoft needs to have. So one of the things they updated was cross-gen SharePlay. Now, do you remember SharePlay? SharePlay is a feature that's on PlayStation 4. And it's probably the best feature PlayStation 4 has, hands down. If you remember when Destiny came out, there was a story about a little boy who enabled SharePlay, virtually handed the controller over to somebody else on a PlayStation 4, and that person went in there and erased Slim's characters from Destiny. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So, SharePlay is the ability that a PlayStation 4 had to allow another PlayStation 4 player to view what you're playing through their PlayStation 4 and to play the game. PlayStation 4. So if I own a game on PlayStation 4, but you don't own it, I can go in, turn on SharePlay, virtually hand you the controller, my game from your house. Dope. Okay? What they have done with this update is they have enabled that cross-generation. So you can now do that PS4 to PS5, PS5 to PS4. So if you're on a PS4, your buddy has a PS5, you want to try a game out, they can let you play that game. Yeah. Right? Here's the thing, and here's what Microsoft needs to have, and they should have implemented this because they had something like this in Beam, which became Mixer, which then went away. Right. So they have the tech. You can start a game up with SharePlay, share the game with somebody else, and virtually hand them a second controller and play co-op. So now you have sat in that very chair, Sin, with a different microphone in front of you, but in that very chair, at that very desk, and listen to me biatch about how Microsoft has the audacity to put out Battletoads in a pandemic with only local
a long-awaited game that was originally co-op to bring it out, and it's no online co-op during the pandemic. Huge fail.
How many times have you and I said to each other, "Man, I would really love to play some River City Girls"? River City Girls
Too many times.
It's just couch co-op. But with SharePlay, you could load it up.
That's the thing of the past.
There's a controller. You could play. Now, you won't get achievements, but you could do that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
K Dizzle. That's just stupid. Like, why? Like, what? Listen, why would you even put that out?
You got me.
It's cool. It's in Game Pass. You can play it, enjoy it, have a good time with it, but you're not playing online, and that hurts. To me, for me personally, that hurts. I would love to see them do that. They absolutely need to get a feature like this on the Xbox.
That would be fire. That would be fire.
If they do that, the deal is sealed, bro.
Blouses?
What? Skin's going home, bro. Like
it's all in the messaging too. If they do it,
it really is. It really is. You know, when you preach connectivity and people being able to play together, and playing with grandma and
Yep.
whatever
Put
it
put
is.
one of them dope Microsoft videos out, detailing, explaining everything. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's perfect. I mean, look, they already have things. Like you can take a controller. They have the feature that's I can't think of the name of it right now, but they have a feature on the Xbox where it's just like how like when you go to driver's ed, how there's a second steering wheel.
Yeah.
They have a feature like that in on the Xbox where you can go in and turn on a second controller. So like if you're playing with a younger person or somebody that has difficulty pressing buttons or doing whatever, you can actually steer or control or have button control from a second controller at the same time. So as a parent or whatever, they can play and you can help them without having to take the controller from them. And they feel like, like as a parent having a kid hand the controller to you, say, can you do this for me? Like you feel good when you could do it. But to be able to kind of help them do it where they keep the controller in their hand, man, that is such a big deal. Especially when you have people that maybe have special needs or have accessibility issues or something along the lines, and it allows them to feel like they're still playing, they still have some control. All right, I'll press the buttons, I'll do the timing, you work the thumbstick, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever it is, right? Somebody who's learning how to do, like first person shooters are not easy to play. Like starting to getting your mind wrapped around the way analog sticks. You know what I mean? It's a
I'll
big
never
deal.
forget the first time I jumped into that with Time Splitters on the PS2. I was
What?
like, what are these things? Why
Bare
is it
boomers.
moving
You know
like
they about to
this?
remake that joint, so
Sice.
yeah, Outriders for class and 3-player co-op. I don't understand either, bro. And I'm gonna tell you what.
No, we
I
don't
looked
know.
at it and they were talking about how their intention, I think, initially was to have 4 players, but they couldn't get it to work. Like it just didn't work out right. I look again. I think PlayStation has some heavy work. They just do.
They do.
Yeah, bro. That Time Splitters, man. No joke, bro.
To drop it day one in Game Pass for me.
What?
I'll be
That'll be a
on it.
month. So let's talk about the Nintendo World Showcase. So Nintendo announced a new color for the Switch Lite.
Yeah,
You
like
see
a
that?
bluish color. Yeah.
Yeah, dog. It's like some kind of I don't know, appleberry blue. I don't know,
Something.
dog.
Yeah.
It's
Something.
an odd, almost purple blue.
Yeah. Wasn't purple enough for me to run out there and grab one though.
Well, they have a yes. I mean, they have a light blue, or whatever, but like some kind of odd color blue. What is interesting to me because there are chip shortages and rumors about a Switch Pro, and
But here's
it just
another
makes me
color.
wonder, like, y'all just going to put out a new joint with new colors. It also does make me think that they're selling them joints incredibly well,
Yep.
and or they are getting ready, like whatever the Pro is probably won't have controllers you can pull off, like you won't have joy, or they're not like they're not going to continue to make games that really make use of the features that the Joy-Cons really can use. Yeah, because why
I
are
can
you
see that
giving
with the
people
DriftCon issues. I can see that. Them kind of pulling away
the
from it.
Joy-Con drift issues?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure people are experiencing Joy-Con drift even with the light. I'm pretty sure people are having that issue. It's just that now you got to send the whole thing in.
Ugh.
Yeah. It is definitely the new age Game Boy, K Dizzle. But it's interesting because again, it's a home console. They've been doing this. I mean, you get the Game Boy player for the GameCube. They had one for the Super Nintendo. Like they've been trying to let you play those games on your home console for quite some time. So the Indie World Showcase, man, they had some pretty cool looking games, man. The first joint they showed, Road 96, looks cool. Like this completely.
That was one of the few I was interested in. Just the whole procedural storyline kind of thing. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. I would give that a shot. So every time you play, it's a different story, different characters. Like a way to keep
I'm
it
gonna tell you
fresh.
what, it's a perfect Game Pass game. I'm not buying that.
I was buying it.
I would Game Pass that joint in a heartbeat, though. Aerial Knights Never Yield. I want to talk about that for a second. This they let the developer speak for a moment. It's a young black male out of Detroit wanted to make a game that showed somebody that looked like him. Now I don't know if he has this appendage thing, but I noticed it's basically like an endless runner, not necessarily an endless runner, but it's a runner that had heavy parkour elements. Looked pretty cool. It was like a Tokyo, like a futuristic Tokyo Detroit looking, background. And I noticed that the character in game had a prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. The demo is available on the Switch right now. It dropped today. So I'll recommend going and
I
grabbing
might
that.
grab it and give it a try.
Last Stop we had already seen before. I think we saw that at the showcase.
Mm-hmm.
From Microsoft. I think that was one of the ones that wasn't a Game Pass joint, but pretty much anything Annapurna puts out, they usually are pretty solid. So that joint in hindsight were pretty good. Ollie Ollie World. Now, Ollie Ollie was one of those indie skateboard games that just kind of took the world by storm for a while. And to see a new one, I think is pretty solid. But it does remain to be seen whether or not that'll stay as I don't think a lot of these joints are going to stay Switch exclusive, but
I don't think so either.
There are already some of them that I saw on PlayStation's
Mm-hmm.
YouTube page as well as Xbox's YouTube page. So some of these are still going to be in other places. There's a game called The Longing, which comes out today.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
But super interesting, like 400 days in real time.
Yeah.
Playing
and
like,
you don't have to actually play it like to get the ending. It just has the clock just has to get to the end of 400 days. And you just got to keep entertained while you're waiting.
Very strange, bro.
Yeah. But that was one of the ones that piqued my interest.
There's a joint called There Is No Game, which looked decent,
Mm-hmm.
Getsu Fumaden was like a side-scrolling, looked like Ninja Gaiden side-scrolling. That one looked pretty tight. That's a roguelike. That kind of pushes me away. But it looked cool.
It looked pretty.
Aztec Forgotten Gods also looked pretty good. Skull looked cool. But I'm gonna tell you the thing that got me the most excited was probably House of Dead remake.
I so wasn't when I saw that. If I don't have the gun, I don't want to play it.
I know it makes me feel like maybe, just maybe, like, again, that's a joint that like Joy-Con are made for that, right? You got a little joint with a trigger on it. I mean, at least you have that, right? I'm trying to play. You could always play House of the Dead with an analog stick, man. When they came out on home consoles, you could do that, but bro, without light gun, which is an issue, exactly. Take this. Listen. I'm sure there will be a peripheral. You can slide a Joy-Con in and make it look like a gun, whatever. They have stuff like that for the Wii.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I need that gun. I want to play Virtual Cop so bad, bro.
I can't do it without a gun, though. I'm almost tempted. I think I have either House of Death, I think it's Virtual Cop 3 or 4 in my closet right now for the PS4.
You have
PS3.
You have my Time Crisis.
That's what it is. Okay.
You have my Time Crisis, bro.
I do.
with the because light guns don't work on new TVs. They were built to work on CRTs because of the way they reflect. So you have to have that joint has the whole joint. That's why you had to have that bar that sits at the top of the screen and hangs down on the side of the screen. It's basically creating like a laser grid for that joint to shoot. Yeah, that joint's fire though. I need that joint. That joint's tight. I want to play that joint so bad. And then I thought it was dope at the end that they closed the joint out with Oxenfree 2.
That was one I was the most excited for. And I've barely touched Part 1. Me and Jokes ran Part 1 for a little bit, and I was like getting into it.
I want to be like, did you play Oxenfree? Because that's the same people who made, oh Lord, what is the name of that joint? The joint where You getting all the conversations and you're trying to drink your way out of hell.
I still got to beat that. Last. Every time I cut on my box, it's sitting right there at the top. Last
I can't even think of
call.
what it is. That joint tight though.
That joint is fire.
Yeah, that joint
I
tight.
just take the time, and I know it's short. I just gotta take the time just to sit there and just knock it out.
Yeah. Indie World Showcase was cool. You know, again, I think it's good to see
What up, Marcus?
them giving some shine to the indie game. Again, I think that's where a lot of this is going to be. I think Game Pass is going to continue to shine with indie games.
Absolutely.
Hey, bro, listen. Can I tell you what I didn't get to? Let me tell you what I didn't get to talk about last week. Nintendo, dog. Pac-Man 99, dog.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, me.
You can have it.
Don't you listen to me? Don't you oh Lord me?
Oh Lord.
Don't you oh Lord me?
Oh,
you
Lord.
already know, bro.
I know.
I know. With the Pac-Man, bro. I get down with the Pac-Man. That joint is a sickness, bro.
You said it to the group chat. I was like, oh Lord, he don't need this.
I'm not. Listen.
You gonna play against people?
No, because I'm not gonna touch the Switch. Like I'm not. Listen.
Oh, you should.
Nah, man up and put that joint.
You try to fire at it. Go ahead.
You already know I am. I know I am. I know. I get down with the Pac-Man. However, I'm not getting ready. I'm not giving the Switch my time for that joint. I'm upset. Put that joint on everything. Put it everywhere, man. That joint needs to be cross-platform. Pac-Man 99, dog. I'm.
So when it finally comes to Game Pass, that's gonna be Friday night's game.
What?
And you can have it, bro.
If they ever have the nerve, I'll be a rat. Man. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, K Dizzle, Pac-Man 99, bro. Like, listen, I get down with the Pac-Man Championship Edition, Pac-Man DX, Pac-Man 256, Miss Pac-Man. Bro, I gets down, bro. They be looking at me like, there, Cuddy. You know, listen. Where are we at? Were we at All-Star or were we at Ocean City? It couldn't have been Ocean City. We had to be at All-Star. I don't know where we were. We were at some convention. We were in a hotel room, man. I hooked up the Xbox, started playing Pac-Man. Because Coop was with us. Coop was like, I didn't think anybody could be good at Pac-Man. And then I saw you playing this joint. I was like, hey, bro, I do this, dog. That joint is crack man, dog. Puck man.
You can have all of it.
Thanks, I'll take it. I mean, I'll let you have your koozie. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough, yeah.
All right, so look, we got Rep Show up.
Gotta get back to Outriders. We got expeditions to do.
We definitely have expeditions to do. We got titanium to farm, is what we got to do. We got some farming to do, for sure. I need, again, everybody who's watching, at this point, I feel like if you're following us in one place, follow us everywhere else. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you're checking us out on Patreon. Friday night, we still haven't decided. We're probably playing Outriders, but we might be playing It Takes Two because we do need to finish that. But Friday night, Twitch will be on 8:30, like normal. We will also shoot. Spoiler boys! Oh, something gotta happen to that bad captain. You hear me?
Hey, no, something is gonna happen.
Something gonna happen. He gonna get them
hands.
He about to get them hands. He about to get that metal hands.
All that. He gonna get all that vibranium.
That's about to be a problem. Yeah. So, spoiler boys, y'all look for that Monday. That'll be an MCU chat. Y'all make sure y'all checking us out in MCU chat. We working hard on that, man. I can't wait for us to do Loki. But man, we got 2 episodes left this week and next week, man, and I'm beside myself. Next week we also we'll finally get, because Mortal Kombat was supposed to be this week. It's next week. So I don't know when we'll do Spoiler Boys, but we definitely will at least talk about that the following week. We're gonna have Coop come back on the show to talk about that with us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is going to be a good conversation. I can't wait to watch that movie. I really have high hopes for that movie. I think it's going to turn out well. We'll
Same
see how that
here.
does. So we will be doing that for sure. I think we'll be back at it regular schedule next week. So again, listen, appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. We're done talking about video games. It's time to go play some. With that, we're out. Toodles and loos.